So welcome. We're going to get started here in about another minute. It's 4 o'clock right now. We'll give another minute. My name is Tom McFadden, and I will be delivering this webinar on alumni success and outcomes. Some of you may have heard some of these before. My suggestion to you is whether you've heard about this topic before or follow the webinar, that you think about some questions that you might want to ask. And if there's something specific about this topic that I don't cover, which is certainly possible, that you think about it and put something in the chat, and we'll try to answer it either as we go or more likely at the end. So okay, it's 4:01. We'd like to start on time as best we can. So again, thank you to those of you who are here. My name is Tom McFadden. I'm the Vice President for Enrollment, and I will be giving this topic, and we'll be going here in a second. But with all things at Christendom, we'd like to start with a prayer. So in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Saint Bridget of Ireland, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. All right, so today we're talking about alumni success and outcomes. This is something for a lot of people. It's very important. Obviously, college is a huge investment, and it's a matter of going to college for some people can be all about getting a job, making sure you're going to make money. A lot of people come to Christendom. That isn't their number one goal, but it is important to them. And so although it's not Christendom's main job in life to guarantee you're going to have the greatest job in the world or make the most money, we do guarantee we're going to give you great education, great formation, and give you the tools you need to be successful in whatever you want to do. But we're going to go into some specifics here. So first thing here is, get my screen going here. Okay, so a couple of the major obstacles for people that otherwise like Christendom. For those of you who are attending right now, I'm not sure if you're kind of new to our mailing list, new to getting information from Christendom, or whether you've been on our list for a while. But there's a lot of people that like Christendom College, and the fact that you're paying attention to this means you're probably one of them. But then they say, it's great and all, you have a lot of great things, Christendom's awesome, but the cost and affordability, I don't know. Money doesn't grow on trees where we live, so that's an issue. You're a private school, you cost money. And we've had some webinars about that, and we'll probably have some more about that in the future. And that's one of the number one sort of stumbling blocks that causes people who otherwise like Christendom to at least think they can't come here. To be honest, we actually work it out very well for most people financially. So that's not the main reason people don't come, but it's something that people initially think they're not going to be able to do. Second thing is getting a job. They, as much as they acknowledge that it's not the only reason to go to college, that's sort of the way of the world. They think that's the only reason you get involved in college is to get a job. We don't believe that here, but again, we acknowledge that people are going to have to support themselves, maybe support a family, and it's important to know, can you get a job and can my college education help? And the last thing, major obstacle to attending Christendom for many people over the years, they've told us, is that is the size of the college. We have 550 students. Some people think, well, it's kind of small for me. It doesn't seem like you have a lot of opportunities or advantages. We would disagree with that. And I know we've talked about this in other webinars that can be found on our website or we'll have in future times. So today we're simply talking about the getting a job concept that is at Christendom, and it's here to promote what we're doing. So here I am. I normally sometimes wear glasses, but not when I'm so close to the screen. I'm Vice President, Enrollment Student Success. I came here when I was a student in 1986, and I came to Christendom and earned my BA in theology and graduated in 1990. I then went to our graduate school and have a master's degree in theology. I graduated in 1998. When I first graduated from Christendom, I became a restaurant manager with my theology degree. Then I became a director of religious education and actually used my theology degree. And then I became a headmaster of a school, entrepreneur, business owner. And then in 2000, I came back to work at Christendom. And so I've been here 23 years, going on 24 years. And I came back to work in a variety of roles. I started in public relations. I've done event planning. I've done marketing. I've done a lot of different things. And at this point, I'm in charge of enrollment and student success. I earned my MBA certificate in 2015 from Shendo University. And right now at Christendom, I oversee the admissions process, so the entire admissions team, trying to set goals of what we're trying to do. I handle retention, so all the current students, I know them all by name, and we try to make sure that once they're here, they're sort of happy and that they want to stick around and graduate. I help oversee the whole career development office. So we have the team that does the one-on-one counseling and helping you write resumes and things like that. And then academic success department is here to help students who are, they're a little wobbly in their academic life, and we want to make them make sure they have a little more grounding to stand on. So we have a department that works with that, and I oversee that. And then ultimately, I'm here to help with students and satisfaction, knowing every student. I actually teach every student every year in career development type classes. People know who I am, very accessible. I'm around campus a lot. So a lot of people, whine and cry about different things to me, which is fine. They're paying customers, and we want to do them right. And we also talk with parents a lot. So being the age I have a bunch of kids, and a number of them have gone to Christendom. My oldest, the one that's here now is Cece. She's a senior. So I kind of can have empathy with the parents who are sending their kids here. The reason I'm talking to you today is that I oversee, besides overseeing the career development office, I actually manage the career development education program. It's called Education for a Lifetime. It's very unique to Christendom. When we get to that slide, I'll explain it in more detail. And on top of all that, I'm a catering chef, cooking class instructor in the center on the faculty staff football team. It's a lot of fun, but as I get older, it's very tiring. By the way, we have never won, us faculty and staff, but we want to continue on one day. Anyway, so that's a little bit about me. Here's my family. It's a couple years old. It's hard to keep track of families, but there I am, my wife, and then my daughter, Cece, who's now here is a senior, my son, Dominic, my daughter, Catherine, her husband, Zach, my daughter, Maria, who had a baby there. She's now had 2, so it's old. Her husband, Jake. My son, John, he's a Benedictine monk in Clear Creek Monastery in Oklahoma. Anna, Louisa, James. Anna's coming as a freshman this year, so any of you coming in, you'll get to know Anna. James will be the next year. There's Margaret, Mary Claire, and Louis and Regina. So I think that's all of them. But anyway, just so you know, there's my family. I've got 11 kids, 8 daughters, 3 boys. To date, all of them have come to Christendom so far, and I still have a bunch more to come through. So that's my family. So today, we're going to talk about 3 things: career development leadership, who's running the charge, who's helping the students figure out what they might want to do, the tools we give them, and then what happens. What's our success rate? Does anyone actually learn anything from what we're doing? So the first thing is leadership. So Kristen Stevens. So Kristen Stevens works for me. She's been here since 2018. She is not a graduate of the college, but she has worked at other universities. She worked at James Madison University and Shendo University in student life and career development aspects there. She is committed. Her full-time job is to work with students one-on-one for whatever it is they want to do, to help them figure out what they might want to do, to help them with resume prep, interview prep, with helping them go to grad school, helping them just even deciding, what it is they might want to do. We have most colleges, in fact, every college has a person in her role. It might be called something else. Maybe it's a career counselor, it's career director. And the goal of that person is to do what I just said, help students figure out what they might want to do. And then once they figure it out, help them achieve it. The difference between what we do and what other schools do is at Christendom, I mentioned this Education for a Lifetime education program we have. It's actually mandatory. So all students have to take these classes. All students, whether they like it or not, have to think about their future. And so all students they don't particularly like thinking about the future. They don't want to think about leaving Christendom. They absolutely love being at Christendom. They like studying the true, the good, and the beautiful, which is what we're doing here. They love the liberal arts. But Mrs. Stevens and I have to bring them down to the ground and put their feet on the ground and say, great, enjoy your time in your classes. I hope you're growing in wisdom. It's awesome. But you know what? You're going to leave here someday. And to leave here, you better be prepared to leave here. So because it's mandatory, we actually make meetings with Mrs. Stevens mandatory a couple times throughout their 4 years at Christendom. So as a result, Mrs. Stevens gets to meet with every single student twice at least. That's the mandatory part. But then some students come in once or twice and like, yeah, this is great. I'm going to come back for more. So that's her job. She's got a very busy schedule. People can go on our website and just click this button, set up a meeting, and have a meeting with her. They can set up a meeting with employers can come and set up a meeting with her. We do have a lot of recruiters that come to campus that recruit from our students. And so anyway, she's very friendly, very happy. The students love her. She's very professional. She knows what's going on. So she is a great resource that we have here at Christendom. So she's the director of the department. We also have an employee relations director whose main job is to work with employers to help recruit, to help when they want to come and recruit here. She sets up their visit, figures out where they're going to be. They want to set up a talk, a table, whatever. So that's the main job for that. We also invite alumni back to speak at Life on Tap, which is it's not, every one of them is not mandatory, but students have to go to 1 or 2 of them a year. So we normally put on between 6 and 8 of them a year, and students have to go to them. And what they are is alumni come back to campus, and they're all in different fields. And they talk about, say, hey, I was once you sitting in your chair wondering what I was going to do, and now I'm doing what I'm doing, and here's how you can do it if you're interested in doing what I do. So people can be inspired. I had a student tell me yesterday, he's like, hey, I went to this one about project management, and I think I want to be a project manager now. So people can get inspired by it. One of my daughters had no idea what she wanted to do. She went to one of the Life on Taps where there was talking about nursing, and she came to me and says, Daddy, I think I want to be a nurse. I'm like, really? Anyway, she's now a nurse. It's great. So we have these opportunities for that. So that's Mrs. Stevens. So what about me? Well, interestingly enough, I told you that I've done a bunch of things in my life. Well, I've actually done more than what I said. I've done an awful lot of things. It's not something that I hope, people say, aren't you, I'm 54 years old. Haven't you grown up? Or haven't you figured out what you're going to do with your life? I don't know. I've done a lot of different things, and I continue to do a lot of different things. For example, now I'm a real estate professional. I have a rental business on the side that I do now. I've helped hundreds of alumni since 2000 figure out what they want to do, and I'm actually now a certified career coach. So I got my certification in this, so I can actually help students do it. So that's a little bit about me. I never would have, the things I've done in my life were not something that are directly related to theology. In fact, most of them are not. But the fact is, because I have a liberal arts education from Christendom, I feel like I've been able to adapt and change and move into different positions as they moved along. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So what do we give the students? How do we help them succeed? First thing for you, we're not going to click on it now and go, but you should bookmark it or type it in right now and go look at it at some point. career.christendom.edu. We have a section here for you, prospective students and their parents. You can click through there, see what we offer, learn all about us. You can find out all basically on this one page. You can find out everything you want to know about what does Christendom offer. It lists our grad schools our students go to, what internships they get. It lists everything. So that's what you should go look at. Feel free to click on any of the others, but we do have this website that is there for you and for anybody to look at. This is the Education for Life class. These are the classes that make us very unique. I do know, lots of people looking at Christendom are looking at another so-called Newman Guide school. They're all great schools. They all do different advantages, pluses and minuses. But I will tell you, Christendom is the only school in the entire Newman Guide book that says, hey, you're going to come here, you're going to take required courses that are actually part of your curriculum that you're going to get credit for that have to do with career development. Some people may say, are you watering down the beautiful liberal arts? No, these courses, they're very shallow in a sense. The students have to attend an hour and 15-minute session, 2 of those a semester. That's not killing anybody. That's 2.5 hours. All the rest of the hours they spend in class are, talking about history, theology, philosophy, literature, classics, math, science, all that stuff. But for 2.5 hours a semester in class, they're learning things like the value of liberal arts education, how to plan the long-term career goals, figuring out how their personality comes to play and strengths and weaknesses, how you can go to graduate school or whether it's something you might want to think about, improving the importance of getting involved in on-campus stuff. So anyway, I'm teaching a course next week to sophomores or to freshmen, and I'm trying to teach this class about, you can do things here on our campus right now for the next 4 years that are going to benefit your resume, that's going to help you be a more valuable person in the workforce if that's something you choose to do. And so we teach them right from freshman year. Here's some on-campus jobs. Here's some opportunities in the area. Here's some classes you can take. Here's some specific classes at Christendom. Here's some extracurricular things you might want to think about as they go through. So basically, we have these 2 classes, CCOL 101 and CCOL 301. Each course is worth 1 credit, and each course lasts 2 years. So CCOL 101 lasts freshman and sophomore year. And again, you're doing 2.5 hours in class a semester. For freshman year each semester and sophomore year each semester. You have to go to a couple of Life on Taps and hear what the alumni have to say. You have to take a couple online, what we call LinkedIn learning courses. There's a couple of those you have to take. You have to do homework. There are some assignments. It's an academic class. You get graded on it, and it's part of the core curriculum. Then you come back junior and senior year. You have to take CCOL 301, which is junior and senior year classes where we talk about how to financial literacy class. I just taught that this week to the juniors, talking about building credit scores and how to get a credit card if that's what you want to do, and paying back loans, which a lot of people have, although it's important to know how to do that. Then we teach a course on more about graduate school and the timeline for doing that. Senior year, we talk about how to find a job, how to salary negotiate, how to interview properly. We have all kinds of things that we bring into play. So even though it's an hour and 15 minutes, we pack a lot of stuff in there. And I'm the coordinator of it. I've been sort of managing this program probably for the past 3 or 4 years, but I've been a teacher in the program since 2016. So this is actually, it's sort of not officially part of my job. It's something I'm hired to do by the Vice President of Academic Affairs. And I love it. I love trying to inspire the kids to say, why don't you, do something big, do something great, and let me help you. Here we are, senior, junior year. They understand the timeline for applying to grad school, understand basic financial literacy, job search process, how to write a resume and cover letter, how to give 2 weeks notice, how to, again, salary negotiation, that's a huge thing. Most people never do salary negotiation because they didn't know how to do it, and it's a scary thing, to be honest. But we help people do it. We help them get more money than they were offered, and they're happier. They take online classes on Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint. So anyway, we offer them. Is it everything? Is there more to know? Absolutely. They could spend hours and hours and hours, and students frequently come and talk to us outside of the class hours. We have lunch with the students every day. We have a lot of conversations about this, but ultimately, this is something that none of the other schools, again, to the best of my ability, I've done a lot of research on it. None of them have this, none of them required. So what happens is it's all optional. And I'll be honest, when you're a college student and things are optional, you don't do them. Particularly if it's like, oh, I have to think about leaving. I gotta go meet with this lady. I don't even know the lady. What am I going to talk about? She's going to ask me what I'm going to do with the rest of my life, and I hate that question. It's a lot of like, I'll wait till I'm a senior. I'll wait till the last possible moment, and sometimes that's a little too late. So we want to make sure it happens from freshman year on, and we're very proud of it. And we'll go over the success rates, the outcomes, which is our proof that this works later on. So here's a couple of stats, just whatever, the benefits of, we call it EFL, Education for a Lifetime, our EFL courses. So the class of 2023, they graduated last May, they're out in the world. 83% of them say they're well prepared to go into the chosen field. Studies are taken, stats are brought up. The average for that question, when asked to most college grads, only 40% feel well prepared to go into the chosen field. So we're doing well. Confident resume writing. Oh my gosh, 99%. I don't know who that 1% is that they're not confident, but whatever. We failed them, I guess. But 37% is the national average. They're like, yeah, I don't know how to write a cover letter. I don't know how to write a resume. I don't know how to interview. Our people really know how to interview. They say the Christendom gave them the tools they need to succeed in the workplace. And then of those who went and visited with Mrs. Stevens in the Career Development Office, they say, yeah, it was very helpful. I liked it. It was good. It was a good use of my time. I knew what I was talking about. She knew what she was talking about. Where again, when asked of any college seniors, normally 16% say, yeah, it was worthwhile. 16%. That's horrible. Okay, so here's what happens is every school that's out there, I mean, I don't know every, but the vast majority of schools, they do what's called the first destination survey, or we call it the 6-month out survey because it makes a little more sense. It's basically you're surveying your alumni after they just graduated at that prior May, and you're saying, okay, now you're out there in the world, you're doing your thing, or maybe you're not doing your thing, but let's find out. And we ask them questions 6 months out. So we did a study in November 2023. We reached 99% of our students. A lot of colleges can't do that. We're a pretty small school, so we have an easier way to reach them. But anyway, we reached a lot of them. And what did they say? Well, most of them are employed or in grad school within 6 months. That's pretty good. That 99.1%, the one person we couldn't reach is the one person we don't know what they're doing. We heard some rumor that they're floating about Europe for a year. I don't know. I wish that'd be nice, huh? But anyway, so we don't know what they're doing. But they might be employed or in grad school. But to the best of our knowledge, all of our students but one, all of them but one, are employed or in grad school within 6 months. You might say, is that good, bad, or indifferent? It's very good. And I'll show you some stats a little later on. 97% said their education is worth the investment. They're investing a lot of money. You know that too. You've looked at the price tag. Maybe you've gotten your financial aid page back award letter, and you're like, wow, what am I going to do? How am I going to afford this? Is it worth it? Well, these students, they said it was worth the investment. They're doing great things. 95% actually said, you know what, you guys kept promoting the liberal arts and saying how awesome it is to have a liberal arts degree, and we kind of believed it, we kind of didn't believe it. We thought you were just selling us reselling us every time. But we're out there in the workplace doing our thing, working in varied fields, doing all kinds of stuff. And you know what? We actually see on a daily basis, regular basis, 95% of them say, yes, we see the value of having gained a liberal arts degree. We see its effect in our workplace. That's pretty cool. 75% found their job through the Christendom Network. What's the Christendom Network? It's alumni, family, faculty, parents. It's just finding it through people who know Christendom. Excuse me. 83% said they benefited from the Education for a Lifetime course. Yes, it makes me weep at night sometimes that what's wrong with the 17% who said they didn't benefit from it, but whatever. 83%. When I took over this program back in 2016, that number right there was 37%. Only 37% said they benefited. So over the past years, it's been pretty consistent in the 80s. I'm okay. I'm not too, I believe that we're going to be in the 80s. I'm never getting 99% because there's always people that, whatever, ruffle their feathers. But they benefited from it. And then 90%, again, agreed that their career office visit was helpful. So here's how people plan their lives. I don't think they should do it this way, but here's how people do it. They think about all the things that they might want to do someday. They're like, okay, I want to be a lawyer, a public relations, or an actor, and civil engineer, politician, whatever, judge. They think about these things, and they only know what they know. They may only know 20 jobs, but yeah, as we know, there's millions and millions of jobs, and half the time you don't know them until you run into them. So people think about what they want to do. Then they say, okay, you know what? I want to be a scientist. So let me go online and look at the college that has the greatest scientist program, whatever that means to you. Maybe it's a biology program or a chemistry program or whatever. And you start searching their websites and you find out, oh, wow, look at this, Maryland or whatever it is, Harvard, they have the best program. I did all the research and the reviews and it's great. They have the best science program. So I'm going to go there. So, someone asks you, why are you going to Harvard? Oh, yeah, science program. I'm going to major in science. And I looked it up and they have a great science program and I can get in. So that's how people think about it. So the problem with that is this is a theory. This is what they do. But when they go there, things are actually different. What happens is when people get to college, they change their major. So the only reason that guy went to Harvard was because he wanted to major in science. But then he gets to Harvard and different things happen. It's just all kinds of things happen. We'll give a couple of examples here in a second, but all kinds of things happen. So as a result, they end up changing their major. 60%, more than 60%, change their major at least once, which means there's a bunch of people that change their major twice. It's because you're growing, you're experiencing things. You don't even know what's out there. And all of a sudden you're taking classes and you thought it was going to be this way, but it's somehow different. So here's what happens. The expectations, you might be saying, maybe I'm homeschooled, maybe I'm public school, maybe I'm private school. Whatever the way you are schooled right now, college is not going to be anything like it. Yes, they're teachers, and they're passing on knowledge, and there's books, and there's homework. There's a lot of just different things that go on. There's all social life. There's being away from your parents. There's dorm life. There's guys and girls chasing each other. I mean, there's all kinds of things that will affect you that may or may not affect you right now. And so going to college is just a different experience. So what might happen? Maybe you go there, the teachers are mean to you. I mean, there are some mean teachers. There's actually a lot of teachers that they kind of particularly hate teaching freshmen. They like teaching upperclassmen. They like teaching people in their major because they think those people are all into it and they have brains capable of thought. And then they have to teach freshmen sometimes, like, oh, I got to deal with these freshmen. Why do I have to do it? And the kids don't even want to take this class. So you're like, I don't want to be in a class. This person's mean. They hate me. They're docking me marks just for looking at them. And so people say, I'm going to transfer out and do something else. Or maybe they went to this college to major in science, and they get there, and all of a sudden someone's telling them, oh, yeah, by the way, if you want to major in physics, you have to take calculus. You're like, calculus? I can't take calculus. Calculus is too hard. I couldn't even pass geometry or trigonometry, and I got to take calculus? Get me out of here. I want to go to do communications or pre-law or something. And so you change your major. Or maybe you went to this college because all your friends are going there. I've had people turn me down here at Christendom. Oh, yeah, no, I like Christendom, but you know what? All my friends are going to this other place. Well, you get there, they're majoring in something else, you're majoring in something else, you never see your friends, you're just hanging out in class with a bunch of people who don't know anybody, and you're like, I want to go out. The reason I came here is my best friend is here, and I want to be in class with them. So you change your major so you can be in your class with your best friend. Or another reason you might change your major is they're just teaching some weird stuff. So the ethics of Star Trek, there's a class at Georgetown University on the philosophy of Star Trek. I have no problem with Star Trek. I don't have a problem with even talking about or discussing things that aren't real. I mean, we do that with all kinds of literature here. But then you're talking about the ethics or philosophy of it. It's like, that's a little too deep for something that's not even true. So anyway, you might change out of there and say, I'm not going to major in philosophy at this place because if this is what we're going to learn, forget about it. So all kinds of reasons people change their major. Here's a couple stats you need to know. So no matter where you go to college, if you want to go to college, if one of your goals in life is to get a job, there's a very, 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 very good chance that if you go to any college, not just Christendom, any college, you'll get a job. Why do I say that? In America today, according to the 2020 census that we were all supposed to sign under pain of death, 36% of Americans, only 36% of Americans over 25 actually have a college degree. So if you go someplace, major in whatever, and now you're a college graduate, you're in the top 36% of America, which means theoretically. You can sort of do whatever you want to do. Obviously, you can only do things according to your nature and abilities and personality and all that stuff. But the point is, you have a lot more opportunities than all those other people that don't have a college degree. So that's just point one. If you want to go get a graduate degree, you want to go to get a PhD in history, theology, philosophy, you want to get a law degree, you want to get an MBA, you want to get a master's in theological studies, you want to get a nursing degree, only 13% of Americans over 25 have a graduate degree. So again, we have about 20% of our alumni over the years have gone to get graduate degrees. Those people are in the top 13%. I've gone to 2 graduate schools. I don't know where that puts me. But the point of it is there's lots of opportunity. So if the point is saying, yeah, I just really need to make sure I can go to college, whatever college I go to is allowed me to get a job, go anywhere. To be honest, just go anywhere. Go to any college and you will get a job, because these are the stats that show it. But if you want education, you want education formation, you want an education can help you, do the greatest job of all, which is to become a saint. Well, that's kind of Christendom. That's our thing. That's what we're trying to do. But more about that later. So here's another stat you need to know is no matter what you majored in, no matter what college you went to, no matter how many times you changed your major, 73% of people, once they're out of college, they're working in a field that's not related to their major. So I majored in theology. I'm not working in theology. Yes, I did for a short period of time, but I'm not working in theology. Mr. Phillips, our admissions director, has a degree in history. He is not working in the history field. So many of our alumni are not working in the field in which they were, but 73% of people in America who have a degree in even specialized things are not working in their field. So the point of this is to say, should I actually go to a college purely because it has the major I think I'm going to do with the rest of my life and work in? There's a very good chance it's never going to happen. What percent? 73% chance. So here's a couple of things about me. I mentioned it before, but just a little timeline. So again, majored in theology. I didn't major in theology because I love God or I wanted to do something holy. I'll be honest, I was a very bad kid. I majored in theology for a variety of reasons, but it was sort of came easy to me, was the reason. I didn't want to do anything with it. I actually wanted to own my own restaurant someday. And so when I graduated, I became a restaurant manager. And yeah, the guy that was hiring me said, "Oh, wow, theology major, what's the deal with that? Now you want to be a restaurant manager." And I said, "Well, did you see my resume? I've worked in restaurants. I understand restaurants. I should be up to the challenge." And he's like, yeah, I'm a liberal arts guy too. I understand the concept. I'm like, "Oh, cool." And he hired me. So I started as a restaurant manager. It was great experience. While I was doing, I thought I was going to start my own restaurant. It was going to be called Baby Huey's. There's a whole story behind that. It doesn't matter. But it was a lot of fun. And then all of a sudden, I switched. I had a phone call from a priest who says, "You know what? I think I need you at my parish. I need you to be director of religious education." I'm saying to myself, remember, I majored in theology, not because I love God or because I was a good guy or because I cared about him. I majored in theology because it was the easy way out. But God said, we need you. He called me up from the minor leagues and said, "I need you to be a director of religious education." During that time as a DRE, I helped convert over 60 people to the faith. And there were 2 kids that exist today because I told the parents using contraception was immoral. And they said, "Hey, I think we'll have another kid." Now I'm their godfather. So God used me, the guy that majored in theology, not wanting to major in theology or not even loving him, to change things for a lot of people. So you never know what's going to happen. Anyway, that's sideline. Next, 1999 to 2000, elementary school headmaster. I never thought I'd do that. That was an interesting experience up in New Hampshire, Mount Royal Academy. Still there. It's beautiful. It's doing much better since I'm not there. From 2000 to 2004, I worked here at Christendom in communications and events director. 2004 to 2014, I was the director of admissions and marketing here at Christendom. 2014 to 24, I've been the vice president of enrollment and student success, doing a lot of different things. And here's a kicker. Here's something crazy. Right now, I just won election. I'm on the Warren County School Board. I ran for election November 8th, and here I am. I won. I'm now on the Warren County School Board, where a year ago, if you had said, "Hey, you're going to be on the school board," I said, "Are you crazy? I don't want to be on the school board." But things change, people change, ideas change. I never would have guessed it that I'm on the school board. And so now I'm in a meeting after meeting after meeting. It's very interesting. Anyway, so you never know what you're going to do. And, but the education, my education going back on it, has enabled me to do well in all those situations. Because here's why. The top skills every employer actually wants, again, whether you're looking for a job or not, Forbes magazine, it's a business magazine, they say 93% of employers think the ability to think, communicate, and solve problems is way more important than undergraduate major. So some people are freaked out that how can you possibly work in a field that's not in your major? I'm just telling you, it happens. It happens all the time. Maybe it didn't happen 30 years ago. Maybe it didn't happen 40 years ago. Unfortunately, due to the great horror of abortion, there are just not as many kids around, people your age, that there should be. It's a very sad thing. but there's still a huge need for employers, employees, and people. And there's open market. You can sort of close your eyes and just say, I want to do that job, and that job, and that job. Yes, you have to have some affinity, you have to have some preparation, but in general, it's easy to get a job outside the field in which you're prepared. 80% of employers think every student should acquire broad knowledge of liberal arts and the liberal arts. Why? Because they're hiring people, and people, every business, everything's a business. Even a parish is a business. They're trying to drum up, customers and parishioners and people donating to their pew, to the church. Everything's a business. And in business, innovation rules. Innovation, come up with new ideas, implementing ideas, communicating to people, time management. There's all these things that the liberal arts education gives you that enables you to be a very good employee. And we've seen that when we deal with these employers that come to Christendom and try to recruit, they say amazing things like, oh my gosh, I've never seen it's people like you before. Where'd you come from? They hire one and they're back knocking again saying, give us some more. We want some more. There's something about this college that prepares people to be great employees. I mean, the truth is, this place helps you with great people, and great people make great employees too. So here's our Catholic core curriculum. Hopefully you've learned about this or seen it or read about it online. So this is our core curriculum. This is another part of our magic, so to speak, magic potion of why our alumni do so well in life, even without a very specific degree, because they have to take a very broad education. Some of these things, as you're looking at it, you're like, okay, that looks pretty cool. They go to, metaphysics. What is metaphysics? Why would anyone take metaphysics? Sophomore year, spring, I hope I'm sick that day. I don't want to take metaphysics. Metaphysics, left to itself, if this were a smorgasbord or a buffet and students could pick and choose whatever class they wanted to take, no one would ever take metaphysics because they don't know what it is. They've never heard of it. And they're like, what's the point? If I've never heard of it, why am I going to do it now? Metaphysics is all about being in essence. It's the philosophy of that. And you're listening to me now saying, why do I need to know anything about being? I am being. I am a being. What's there to learn? How much more is there? I'm just telling you, it's one of the most fundamental, transformative classes you will ever take at Christendom College. It's a difficult class too. It's sort of hard to understand because you're trying to understand who God is in himself and then who you are as his creation. Anyway, I don't want to give it away. The point is, if I had never taken that, I would be a different person. I'm a more well-rounded person, a more thoughtful person, because I had to force my mind to think in a way that isn't naturally me. For example, literature. 4 classes in literature. When I was a student, we had 5 classes in literature. I am a math and science guy. My math score on my SAT was 200 points higher than my English score. I'll be honest, all of it was horrible. There was nothing good about my SAT score. But the point was, math was my thing. So I come to Christendom and they torture me with having to read all these novels and have book club discussions about it. And I'm like on the surface all the time and I can't get deep. And I'm like, but didn't she say she loved him? I'm like, yeah, she said that, but she didn't mean it. I'm like, seriously? Anyway, it was very, very shallow. And so I was tortured to think about these things for 5 semesters. I'm like, oh my gosh. And in fact, I got a C- or below in all of my English classes. That's how much it tortured me. Well, why am I telling you this? Because fast forward a bunch of years, I come back to work at Christendom in 2000, and I become the editor of everything that comes out of Christendom College. Every word on our website was written through me or by me or approved by me or edited by me. Every magazine you've read, every brochure you've read, I've gone over. I was the last guy to go over and say, hey, no, let's write it differently. Let's make it better. Why am I saying this? Because left to myself, I would have taken very mathematical, very, very, mathematical and science classes would have been my forte. And I would have left all these things to the side and never have done that. And I would be a worse person, a worse husband, worse father, worse colleague, and a worse employee if I hadn't taken these things. So you never know what you're going to need in life. Well, the people for thousands, with over 1,000 years when Catholics went to college, these are the types of things they learned. It wasn't until the 1900s that they decided to go and get very specialized degrees. So we're doing sort of, some people say, are you going to get any new degrees? Like, here's our degrees: history, theology, philosophy, literature, classics, math, political science. We just added a natural science major. It's sort of launching in the fall. So sorry I didn't update my script here. But there it is. And people are like, but where are the cool majors, man? Where are they? Where's cybersecurity? Where's nursing? Where's business? Yeah, they're never coming. They're just not coming. We're not doing anything cool. We're not doing anything new. We're doing old school cool. These are the things that everyone learned for 1,000 years, and they did some pretty good things. All the people that did all the inventing and discovering and scholarly things, saintly things, they all studied the things we're studying. So this is, I'm not here to promote the liberal arts beyond how it works for a career, but it helps you with that. And because it gives you the skills or unwritten communication, critical thinking, teamwork, complex problem solving, creativity. If you go after this webinar, you want to go on Google and search and say, what are the top things people are looking for? This is all going to come up. I didn't make it up. I'm not, this is it. You can search it and say, wow. And why is Christendom doing it? Christendom, the things that we study, the papers we write, the way you're reading, the information you process in your mind gives you these skills, and these skills are very valuable, again, for you as a human being and part of your formation, but also for the sake of getting a job and working in the workplace, if that's what you want to do. So here's some recent headlines. I mean, some are a little old, but whatever, close enough. 2018 U.S. News and World Report, which is not friendly to Christendom, says your college major does not define your career. Forbes magazine says 6 reasons why your college major doesn't matter. Harvard Business, liberal arts majors of the future tech industry. These people out there saying this stuff. Your college major doesn't really matter. Employers don't care what you major in. 2023. Your useless liberal arts degree can give you an edge in tech. So I'm just telling you, there's lots of it. In fact, on our website, we have, this is the most up to date. We updated September 6th. Maybe there's one a little later, but you can go to our website and click on all these things, or ask the admissions office to send you a PDF of this, but you can go on our website and do it. There's a whole section. You can go, there must be 200 articles. So if you're saying, yeah, McFadden's trying to sell the liberal arts and great career success because, well, that's his job, he's making a buck, this is what he's trying to do. I'm just telling you, here's all the evidence. These are all just all kinds of places that are talking about the benefits of a liberal arts education. So, believe me, believe them, whatever you want. But if you need more information about that, please let us know. We can get it out to you. But it is on our website under the academics tab. It says why liberal arts, and it's right there. So what are the outcomes? That's what we do. That's what we offer. We have individual one-on-one meetings. Mrs. Stevens offers that. I meet with people. We have our education for a lifetime classes. That's, again, totally awesome. We have our core curriculum, which builds your mind in such a way that just makes you like amazing for doing all kinds of things that you didn't think you could ever do. It broadens your horizons. And now what are some of the success things? So in 2018, I told you, everyone does these surveys. They do the 6-month out survey or the first destination survey. We started doing it in around 2018. We said, what do our alumni do? Well, there we are. In 2018, 96% were employed or in grad school within 6 months of graduation. 2019, 98%. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, we have 96% that first year, there were probably 2 kids that were flopping about, were still searching and trying to figure things out. 2019 with 98%, that was one person. There was one person who we couldn't figure out what they were doing. And again, they may have been employed. We don't think they were. 2020, there was this thing called COVID. Maybe you remember it. But in COVID days, people said, no one's going to get a job. Oh my gosh, the world's ending. Well, no, it's never going to work out. Well, the national average for that year, you can Google this, is they were talking about it in March of 2021. They're saying, what happened to the class of 2020? Did anyone get a job? Is anyone where they're supposed to be? And it said on average, only 54% of the graduates of that year were in graduate school or employed within a year, at least up to March, up to March, which was almost a year from graduation. Whereas Christendom, 98.8. That means all of the students but one was employed or in grad school during the great horror of 2020. 2021, 98%. 2022, 98.9%. Here we are this past year, 99.1%. Again, there's that one girl touring around Europe, having a great time, and she doesn't want to be employed or go to grad school, and she's not searching either. She's just having a good time. So those are our success rates, and that's our evidence. And so when people say, I don't know, I'm skeptical, you can't be skeptical, because I'm telling you the truth. This is the way it is. I know these people, I know these alumni, I know their names, I know what they're doing. I'm connected with them on LinkedIn. I have their cell phone number. I can text them. We can communicate with them. They're not lost to us. Now, there's something called NACE, N-A-C-E, National Association of Colleges and Employers. They've been around for a long time. They're actually the ones that do this first destination survey for most colleges. Most colleges, they don't want to deal with it. They say, hey, NACE, here's our list of people. You contact them, you hunt them down, and just tell us what happened. So and then they separate, they put schools in different departments, and they say, okay, so for people who offer BAs, that's us, with under 2,000 students, that's us. According to 2021, which at least when I was doing this, when I was coming up with this slide, that's the most recent I could find. They said that of all those people, and I don't even know how many schools are involved in that mix, but there's a whole bunch of them, only 58% were employed full-time within 6 months. 58%. Now, again, that doesn't include graduate school. That's just employed during that time. we had a lot more employed because we don't have, again, it's a smaller number go to grad school. So we had closer to 90 or 95% were actually employed full-time within 6 months. 8% were seeking employment. And then the average starting salary of these people was 48,198. I don't know whether that's good, bad, or indifferent in your world, but that's just the way it is. Here's Christendom. So the class of 2023, again, it's not in comparison to the 2021 number that we have, but it's what we have. 91.1%, okay, we're employed full-time within 6 months. So that was our number. So again, it's 99.1 were employed or in grad school, but 91.1 were employed within 6 months. That's quite a big difference than 58%. Less than 1% were seeking employment. So 8% was the average. We're well below that. In fact, in all my time of doing this, we've never had anywhere close to 8% looking for it. And then our average salary for this past year was around $45,000. Now people say, well, what happened there? What happened to that? Well, we have a lot of people that like to do gooder stuff. You know, they like to teach in Catholic schools. Well, Catholic schools, frequently they start at $38,000. We have some people that go off and they want to do type of missionary work, or they have to raise their own funds. Maybe they want to do Focus, Fellowship of Catholic University students, or maybe they work for Seton Teaching Fellows in New York. There's not there's not a lot of money. There's no money, or they have to raise their own money. We have someone right now, Caroline McDermott. She went off to work for the Archdiocese of Military Services, of sort of being a campus ambassador and kind of earning her own money. So we have a lot of people that they don't really want to make any money, and they want to do very altruistic things, which is very noble of them. But to be honest, we have also people. I was talking to this guy the other day. He'd been out 2 years, and I said, "What do you do?" And he's like, "I'm in sales." I'm like, "Do you like it?" And he's like, "Not really." I'm like, "Any good at it?" He's like, "Not really." I'm like, "Well, why are you doing it?" He's like, "Well, there's a lot of money, and I'm making a bunch of money, and I'm getting married soon. I just need to save up some money and pay off some debt." I'm like, "Okay, well, if you don't want me asking, like, about how much you're making." 2 years at Grant, graduate of 2 years. He's like, I'm in the neighborhood of a low 110s. I'm like, that's a pretty nice neighborhood to be in the low 110s. I didn't even know there was a neighborhood of 110s. And he's in it, and he's been out 2 years, and apparently he's not even any good at what he does, but he's able to make 110 or so thousand doing this. And so there's a lot of people that are making a bunch of cash if that's their goal. But we also have a lot of people that, they're not searching the almighty dollar, but they're able to if they want to. So it's there. So here's other schools. So we talked about other schools do this thing. So here's Yale. Again, how many were employed in grad school in 6 months? 96.9%. UVA here in Virginia, 85%. Catholic University of America, 92%. University of Mary up in Bismarck, that we're a competitor with them, 94%. University of Dallas, great job, 99.3%. They're better than us this year. William and Mary, 83%. Brown is the Ivy League school, 96%. Columbia, 92%. So you can see it. They're, Dartmouth College, it's an Ivy League school, 84%. Penn State, 65%. So again, Christendom, when I took over in 2016, it was at 90%. It was like the other people here. It's a little kind of average. Then we started improving things. We started changing things. We started changing the curriculum and the syllabi for the Education for a Lifetime class. We started getting more intentional about talking to the students, we're giving them more confidence. As you can see over the years, it's grown. It's grown, and the students, they don't even know that it's happening to them, but they're like, wow, this is great. Again, it's not our number one job. If your number one goal in life, I want a job and I want the best job of all time, go someplace else. It's not our goal. It's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to help people have a great life, be a great Catholic life, get immersed in the Catholic formation that we have here, and go out in the world and save the world. That's the job. We need people to want to be saviors of the world, saviors of the culture, and the redeemers of the culture. That's what we're trying to do. So the top career fields, you say, well, what if you had to put them on a box, McFadden? What are the top career fields that people go into? Well, Mrs. Stevens and I sat down and went through a lot of alumni and what they do, and we came up with these categories. Are they perfect categories? No, but basically healthcare, finance and accounting, business management, sales, law, so you can read them. These are the top things they go into. Could they go into other things? Absolutely, but these are the ones that generally they go into, and they're able to go into it very easily, and they're able to, once they get into it. I mean, your first job that you get is always going to be normally it's going to be your worst job and your worst paying job. And then, but as you get in there, if you're any good, you sort of work your way up the ladder, or go horizontally and vertically. You go different ways, not so much a ladder but you end up, a lot of our alumni start running things and taking care of things, and they start their own businesses. So they have that edge that they want to do that. So how do they succeed? If it's not the major, which it isn't the major, it is our curriculum, it is our liberal arts, it is the classes we teach, it's the formation we give them, it's the education classes we teach in career. That does help them. But outside of that, How do you succeed in life? How do you get a good, decent job? How do you get someone to say, yes, I want to hire you and give you a bunch of money? Well, first you have to understand what it takes to enter a chosen field. And that's murky. It used to be years ago, you had to have a degree in that field, then you had to get a master's degree in that field, then maybe you can work in that field. That is not the case anymore. You can have a degree in almost anything and work in almost any field you want. And we see that with our alumni. Networking connections. I told you earlier, our alumni, about 70% of that class, they got their job through networking, through knowing someone. You know, it's always about, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That's true in almost anything in life. And we have a lot of good connections. We have a lot of good connections with employers. We bring in recruiters. We bring in grad schools. They like us. They like our people. They want to hire us. And we have a lot of alumni that are looking out for the current students. Work and internship experiences. Having an ability to show this on a well-written resume is important. So we don't want our students necessarily just being babysitters every summer during college or mowing lawns, as great as that was during high school. We want them to get into other positions and do some more real work or active work that's going to benefit them in their resume. And I personally edit every single student's resume. During sophomore year, I teach a class on how to write the perfect resume and cover letter. 120 resumes come to me. I hate those emails because then I have to spend all this time editing each and every resume. But you know what? It's worth it. I'm worth giving the time to the students so they can have a well-edited, professionally edited resume. By the time of February sophomore year, they have a resume. And from doing this for years, seeing it, it's amazing how much work these people have already done. They have good resumes. There are some people that have nothing on the resume. They've never had a job. And the good thing about that is they say, great, you're a sophomore. You need to start doing something either during the school year or during your summers or during Christmas break to start building up your resume. So at the time you graduate, you have a full page of stuff that you can show an employer and say, look, I'm good at stuff. Please hire me. So we help with that. The ability to interview well. Our students people love talking to them. They're very well spoken. They're very well read. They're very broad. They're very courteous. Virtue kind of oozes from them, and people like them. Like, wow, you guys are nice. Your humility, it's very good as well. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, through the academics, we give the ability to think clearly, solve problems, be innovative, and communicate. This is what all these things are what employers are looking for in order to hire somebody. So what do our alumni do? Again, you can go to our website at career.christendom.edu and look up some people and see what they do and watch videos of Life on Tap. You can do all kinds of stuff if you're not believing what I'm saying. But if there's something you want to do and you're saying, I don't think there's any way I could do that if I went to Christendom, I'm telling you, I don't know if you can tell this, I'm a very open and honest guy. If you want to email me later and say, but what about this? Could I do this? Is this something I can do if I go to Christendom? I will tell you whether we have anyone that does it. I will tell you whether I think it's a plausible thing. I'll tell you whether I think it's like, well, you could do it, but it's jumping through an awful lot of hoops. I don't know if you want to do that or not. So my job is not to tell you to come to Christendom. My job is to tell you, if you want to come to Christendom and you're having concerns or problems or difficulties or hurdles, I want to tell you about how you can overcome those hurdles. But I will never tell you can overcome a hurdle if the hurdle is unovercomable. We have an alumni mentor booklet. It's on our website on career.christendom.edu. Maybe the admissions office has already sent it to you. But we have all these alumni, maybe, I don't know, 160 alumni in here. And we talk about people in business and IT and military and real estate. And these are all real people that went here. I can tell you stories about all these people. I was the admissions director for most of these people. And I know their story and what they wanted to do. And here they are. They get their personal email out saying, yes, click on here, contact me. You want to know how Lieutenant Colonel Leo Moore became a United States Air Force. He teaches people how to fly. Well, I don't know if that's what it is now, but for the longest time, he taught people how to fly F-16s. I'm like, really, Leo? But the truth of it is, it's like, yes, that's what they're doing. And he wants to help you figure out if that's what you want to do. Dan Mitchell over here, these people in real estate. Again, people can get degrees in business and go into real estate, or you can get a degree in philosophy and go into real estate. You can get a degree in political science and do that. So anyway, it's all there to help you do it. Here's a funny story here, John Sullivan. So John Sullivan, he told me one day in class, his freshman year, first semester, he says, you know, Mr. McFadden, I really want to get in the IT business someday. So if you ever come across anybody, some alumni, some people say, hey, do you have anybody and any students that want to go into IT? Can you tell them I am? I'm like, yeah, John, I'll let me write that down. Remember that thing. 2 days later, this lady calls me. She's on our board of directors. She's an alumna of the college. She works for this company that does IT stuff. And she's like, Tom, I'm looking for one guy that's into IT, a senior. Maybe we can help him out with an internship, get him on board so that when he graduates, he can work for us. And I'm like, do you know what? I have one person. I know one person out of the entire senior class who wants to do this. I connected him to her. 2 of them connected. He got the internship. He got the job. He worked for them for a number of years. He's since moved on. But it's like, you know, you never know how it's going to be. But I don't know what he grew up thinking he was going to do. I doubt he grew up thinking he was going to IT or computer stuff, but that's what he became interested in when he was during college. And that's what we got him into. So this book tells you everything: business, sales, management, law, all the way down. Whatever it is you want to do, we have people that do it. I mean, if you want to be an astronaut, I'll be honest, we don't have any astronauts. So I don't know if it's possible to go to Christendom and become an astronaut, but I don't know. There's not very many astronauts in the first place. So most of the things you want to do, we can probably help you. You want to go to grad school? Go to grad school. We can help you go to grad school. There's a test, just like you took the SAT or the ACT or the CLT to come to go to college now. That thing costs like $55 or whatever. To go to grad school, you have to take a test that's similar to those. It's called the GRE, is one of them. It costs $210. $210 to take that test. That's a lot of pressure. Well, at Christendom, if you take that test, you pay for it, you take the test, you send us your scores, we will reimburse you the $210 for taking that. See, we're here to give you help, to help you do whatever it is you want to do. If you say, I hope to never go to grad school the rest of my life, we're not going to pay for you. We're not going to encourage you. We're just here to help you do what you want to do and tell you all the options that are out there. You know, they say in life, why this is the best time to become an English major. It says, even in an era when American graduates regret their liberal arts education, there are a lot of people that regret their liberal arts degree. I'm not here telling you about every liberal arts college because I don't know what they do there. I'm telling you what happens at Christendom College. Like, here's a case, you know, 50% regret their major. Federal Reserve survey of household economics and decision making says nearly 50% of those who major in humanities or social sciences, that's what we do here at Christendom, wish they'd chosen a different field of study. Yeah, because they're majoring in gender studies or musical performance or 12th century English poetry. What is that stuff? That they're majoring in humanities, but it's a very distinctive, very unique field that's just, I mean, it's just useless. I mean, if you're hoping to get a job, I don't know what this person thought they were going to do. I know it's just a meme and may not be real, but when I was at Shendo University getting my MBA, there was this guy and they asked, they said, why are you here? And he's like, well, I majored in music performance and I couldn't find a job. I'm like, couldn't you just sit by the train station, put your basket out and collect money? I mean, there's a job. I don't know, but I don't know what he thought he was going to do. Join the next rock band? I'm not sure what it was. So here at Christendom, when they major in history, theology, philosophy, literature, there's very few people saying, I'm going to be a history guy. I'm going to do history the rest of my life. I'm going to do theology the rest of my life. No, they're saying, I'm going to go and just go out and I'm going to work in everyone else's field and be successful. And that's what they do. So our alumni statistics. Christendom people came here. They're our product. We put out our product. And now they're alumni. We have about 4,000 alumni total. We've been around since 1977. That's not very many people. I get it. We know a lot of our people. I personally know probably 3,500 of those alumni personally, like their names, where they live, what they're doing. I've been here a long time. 96% or plus or minus, right around there, are still practicing Catholics. I wish that number were 100%, but faith is a gift from God. We've had valedictorians leave the faith. We've had people who've double majored in theology and philosophy leave the faith. It's a gift, but that's pretty good. There's no magic thing that you're going to go to any college and keep your faith, but that's our goal at Christendom. 96% of the alumni agree it was worth the financial investment. Again, that's about the past 3 years, average it out. 97% agree that Christendom had a positive influence on their life. Lots of alumni-to-alumni marriages, myself included. My wife and I met here. I think we were about close to marriage number 40 out of all the thing. Maybe there's something symbolic about that. I'm not sure. But 570 alumni-to-alumni, you know, that's 1,140 of the 4,000 alumni married each other. Well, that's a good, you know, they're working on their vocation. There's very few divorces, many, many children. 150 plus alumni vocation to the priesthood and religious life. And by the way, here at Christendom, when we're talking about career development, we mean stay-at-home moms, we mean priests and religious, we mean all of it. All of these courses that we teach are intended for everyone who wants to do anything in any vocation. We're not focusing saying we need this many lawyers and this many high-powered doctors. We just say, what do you want to do? And if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, we want you to be a stay-at-home mom. And we actually have courses on stay-at-home mom workshops about it, how to do it. So there's nothing that's off the table. If you want to do it, we want to help you do it. And that's what Mrs. Stevens and I are here to do. Here's my extended family. Here's my dad back here, Tom McFadden Sr. My mother, she's deceased a couple of years ago. He's got 6 kids. They had 6 kids together, and they sent all 6 of their kids to Christendom, all 6. And my parents, who care about their children's souls and help them get to heaven, they said, you know what? We hope they all get to heaven. And they sent all their kids to Christendom. And to this day, we're all in our 50s. We're all still practicing Catholics. Those of you listening right here, you know you've got people in your family that aren't practicing Catholics. You know that because it's the most common thing in the world to happen. But all of my siblings and all of our children are currently practicing Catholics. That's amazing because my dad, he's number 8. He's the 8th of 8 kids. And he's got 7 older siblings. And I have 28 siblings on his side. 28 siblings on his side, and not one of them is a practicing Catholic. They're very successful. They're very successful. Not one of them is a practicing Catholic. So, at the end result, the one job that we're actually all called to do, the one job that God created us to do, the job that no one seems to care about anymore, is to become a saint. Yes, I wish I could guarantee it. Come to Christendom, go to heaven, guaranteed. I wouldn't even show up to work. It'd be great. People would be saying, yes, let me in, let me in. But you know what? They might not. They might say, yeah, but you don't have a nursing degree. I really need to be a nurse in order to get to heaven and do my thing. Well, we don't. We offer what we offer. We offer a great education program, great formation program, great spiritual programs. By the way, speaking of spiritual program, next week on February 6th, Kathleen Laframboise, who is a mission counselor here, she will be giving the next webinar about the spiritual life here on campus and all the offerings that we have, and about our masses and confessions and all kinds of formation talks and the whole thing. So if you're interested in becoming a saint, you want to know about how we do it here, how we, outside the academics, how we add the spiritual life to it, Catherine will be the person to do that. So Christendom is an educational apostolate. We're not just a college. We're an educational apostolate with the intention of trying to save souls, trying to educate people to go out in the world, to save the world, to save other souls out there. And that's what's cool about Christendom. We want to help your child become a saint. No guarantees. Again, there's no Catholic pixie dust. We say, come to Christendom. Here, you're going to be good. We think you're going to be good, but free will exists, and that's the thing. That's always the kicker, right? We want to give them the education experiences to enable them to restore the culture and make it more Christocentric. That was Dr. Carroll, our founder. He's like, there's a problem in the world. There's a cultural chaos going on. We need to put the warriors out there in the world who are going to not want to stand the bystander. So if you're just okay, you students watching this, if you're okay, just looking at your phone, swiping away, and let the world's crumbling about you, and you know what? Let someone else deal with it. Please, please, please do not ever come to Christendom College. Please, please go someplace else. But if you want to help restore the culture, be a light in the darkness, and help achieve greatness that God wants, we want you to come to Christendom College. Our alumni are happy. They're in good careers, vocations. They're sending their kids here. And the final word is our education is worth the investment, both for the here and now and for the life to come. So that's my little talk here. That's all I got for you. At any given time, if you have questions about anything, I'm here to work with you. Someone did ask how the education for life education courses work when someone goes to Rome. During junior years, when students go to Rome, and during that time, we actually don't the junior year, they only do one semester of education for life, because we sort of assume they're going to go to one semester of the other. So I separate all the juniors into two groups, and I say, this is fall, spring, you do your education for life fall semester, and you do it spring semester. So I teach the exact same things in each semester to catch up for it. So they only have to do one semester of the education for life. So that's how that works together. Are there any other questions? Anyone have any things they'd like to know? Again, I'm here for you. At any given time, you can email me, tmcfadden@christendom.edu. I'm also a pretty good texter and responder to texts. You can always call me if you like, or text me at 540-660-5262. I know I should have put that on the screen, but I didn't. 540-660-5262. And I'm happy to talk to you about anything at any time, whether it's about this topic or any other topic. So at this point, it looks like there's no one else has any questions. So I guess I did pretty good today. So if you do have questions in the future, please let me know. Let's end with the glory be. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end, amen. Merry Christmas, right? Because tomorrow is the last day, the presentation of our Lord. So let me just say that to you. Merry Christmas. We take down our Christmas decorations tomorrow, so we'll see how that works. And then also, again, don't forget to come back here for the next webinar, February 6th. Kathleen Laframboise, she's a much nicer person than me. You'll enjoy hers better. And it's all about the spiritual life here on campus, and how we help our students achieve their goals. Thank you very much. Thanks for taking the time, and God bless you. Hold on, there's a couple questions. 1 second here. Oh, just thank you very much. You're welcome. All right, bye-bye. Thank you.